Hey guys, welcome back to Doc Lil Talks Comics, and today we're going to talk about X-Men 97, Season 2, Episode 9. It's called Survival of the Fittest. And we leave off from Episode 8. Actually, we pick up from Episode 8, where Gambit was in a coma, and they were trying to determine how they were going to bring him back. Cable is now working with X-Factor and his X-Force team, and he thinks that the only way that he can save society, save humanity, is to go and kill Gambit. He just doesn't see any other way to kill Apocalypse, who is hiding inside of Gambit. Well, that puts him, of course, against his own mother and father, Scott and Jean, and they end up having a massive battle that destroys part of the new complex, X-Core complex, that Charles and company have built. So this finishes off this season really, really well, because eventually you do get to see the redemption of Gambit. You get to see everybody, happy in the end, but then you get to see a twist at the very end, and you're not really sure who the good guy is and who the bad guy is, but it's made abundantly clear within the closing segments. So they did finish off the series very strong for this season, but at the same time, I would still love to see more than 9 or 10 episodes per season. I'd love to see this stretched out to at least 16 to 20 episodes, and that way you get a true idea of who these characters are. They get a chance to breathe and grow even more, and you get true characterization. I know that a lot of times you get these 10 and done type of things from Netflix or Disney Plus, and that's fine for that. But we've talked about it in previous episodes of this show, that these characters have a rich lore, and in order to really show them off in a manner that is befitting the Chris Claremont 17-year run, even the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby beginnings, you need to let these characters breathe and have big storylines. And to me, 9 to 10 episodes per season is just not enough. This show is absolutely one of the best shows on Disney Plus. Whether it's a Disney Plus original or not, I don't care. It is one of the best shows on this particular platform. And it really gives you those vibes of taking the X-Men back to the 90s, back to the Chris Claremont, Jim Lee era, Adam Kubert, Andy Kubert. All of these creators that made these characters famous. See, I know my X-Men characters, and I know the creators and things like that. I was reading 4 Spider-Man titles in the 90s, and I couldn't afford 4 Spider-Man titles and 10 X-Men titles. It was just too much. So I had to choose. It was kind of like baseball cards or comics. And I chose something that was, at that time, $1 to $1.25, and you got a full story from the beginning to the end. Even if it was part 1 of 6, you still got a full story within that one issue. You got to see a beginning, a middle, and an end, or cliffhanger, if you will. So, guys, I've said pretty much all I can say about this particular series for this season. If you haven't watched it up until now, kind of like me with Absolute Batman, you're not gonna get into it. But for those of us that grew up with X-Men and Batman the Animated Series, which I'd really like to go back and kind of do an episode by episode overlook at that show as well, because I liked it better than I liked X-Men. And I liked X-Men a whole lot. And to be honest, Spider-Man's my favorite character, but I never watched the Spider-Man the Animated Series from 93 to 97, somewhere around that era. I never watched that show because the animation style was different than this. But anyway, it draws back to that 90s time frame, that time of innocence when things were, not quite as hectic, not quite as crazy. So if you want to go back to that time, check out the first season. If you don't like it, then move on and watch something else. But if you like it, I guarantee you, you will like X-Men 97 Season 2. So that's it, guys, and I've been saying that I hope that they don't have to take 2 to 3 years between seasons, and I have since read on Bleeding Cool or somewhere that they said that everything is in order to pretty much crank them out every year now, annually. So as long as the seasons are, they will come out on an annual basis rather than a 2 to 3 year wait in between seasons. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me on this episode of Doc Loyal Talks Comics. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, come back because I've got great stuff for you each and every day, talking about movies, talking about books, talking about comics, talking about things like the Stan Lee documentary. I want to do more than just be a reviewer of comics. I want to kind of lean deeper into these characters and what makes them interesting. So like I said, if you have not yet, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and come back, and I've got more stuff coming up for you starting tomorrow. Take care, guys, and we'll see you next video.